A brand new engine has arrived on the island of Sodor, and he never wanted to be late. There was the new engine. He arrived at the mainland, where the Fat Controller and the engines were waiting for him. The Fat Controller said this to the engines. "Meet Hero," he said. "He is the new engine on Sodor." "I'm Boko." "I'm Edward." "I'm Toby." "I'm Duncan." I am Proteus," said Proteus, the Scottish engine. "Nice to meet you guys," said Hero. "I'm the new engine on Sodor. It's Hero." "We know," said Boko, when the Fat Controller, still waiting for Hank, when Hank arrived at the yards, feeling embarrassed because there was Hank arriving at the yards, feeling embarrassed because he had black and yellow paint, because already when he came to the yards, he came in feeling sad. He came in feeling sad, having black and yellow coat of paint, and he looked like a buzzy bee. When Edward said this to the engines, "Look!" And with that, Edward, Boko, Hero, Toby, Duncan, Proteus, and the Fat Controller all looked at Hank. They felt very sorry for him. "All these years," said Toby, "we never seen it happen to him before," and that made Hank very sad. "I don't like black and yellow paint," he said. "I look like a buzzy bee." "Indeed," said the Fat Controller. "Tell us what happened." "I've just crashed into Henry's paint trucks, and now my old American coat of paint got spoilt and ruined, and they had to paint me in black and yellow coat of paint, and now I look like a buzzy bee," he said. "Dearie me," said the Fat Controller. "We'll try to sort that problem out," he said. And he said this to Hero. "Hero, I want you to help Dodge and Duke at the yards." "Yes, sir," said Hero, and Hero puffed away, while the engines felt sorry for Hank. He didn't look so good anymore. Meanwhile, Hero arrived at the main line, and there was his new friends, Duke and Dodge. They were happy to see him. "You must be Hero," they said. We're Dodge and Duke. Nice to meet you. It's your first day today. Now that's your first job on the island of Sodor, called shunting trucks. I want you to take Rickety and that blue truck back to the yards, while Dodge and I do some more shunting training. It's your first job, you know." "Yes," said Hero, and Hero did exactly what Dodge and Duke told him to do, and he was beginning to enjoy this. He loved this job, and it gave him fantastic work. While the Fat Controller can see how come Hank is sad. "I know that you're sad," said the Fat Controller. "Now I need you to do two jobs. I want you to take the tar tanker and fuel tanker to the docks. Dennis has broken down, and I want you to take him back to that shed straight away," he said. "Yes, sir," said Hank. Hank puffed away sadly. He wasn't feeling so good. He wasn't feeling so happy. He wanted his old American paint back, and he puffed to find the tankers. He was coupled to the tankers and puffed away. I hope they won't laugh at me," he said. "I will make it to the docks." And he did. He arrived at the docks, and there was Torindo Just. Torindo Just made rude remarks and started making fun of him. "Hey, Hank," he said, nice Buzzy Bee paint. Perhaps you look gorgeous after all." But Hank didn't want Buzzy Bee paint. He wanted his old American paint back, so he already left the tanks at the docks and ran away from him as fast as his wheels could catch him. Meanwhile, Bert saw him too and made fun at him as well. "Nice Buzzy Bee paint," he said. "What happened to your old American paint?" But Hank didn't want Buzzy Bee paint. He wanted his old American paint back, so he ran away from Bert while he steamed past by Billy. "Hello, Hank," he said. "What happened to your old American paint? You look nice in that Buzzy Bee paint." But Hank didn't want Buzzy Bee paint. He wanted his old American paint back, and he puffed sadly away and ran away from Billy. Hank found Dennis next to Terence. He was ready to take him away and puffed away. He hurried and hurried, and at last, Dennis was brought back to the sheds while he was waiting for what's going to happen about now. And with that, all the trucks were finally in the right position, just what Dodge and Duke told Hero to put them on, while Dodge, feeling happy, started to feel painless. "Oh," he said. "Dodge," said Derek. "Dodge," said Duke, "you don't feel so well." "I don't." "Dodge has run out of fuel. We'll take him to the works," said Hero. "We should," said Duke, "while I wait here." And with that, Hero took Dodge to the repair sheds to get his engine mended while they were waiting for Hank, because they don't know what's going to happen soon with him, because they will have to find out what will really go on. There was Hank. He was waiting for what's going to happen when Stephanie popped in feeling excited. "Hank," he said, "my driver and I went to the paint shop and we buyed a paint pot, and it has your favorite color on it." "Really?" said Hank. Hank was so happy that he was finally having his old American paint back. Stephanie already told him the story about this, and Hank was excited to get his old American paint back. After when Hank had his old American paint back, he steamed in and realized Duke saw, and realized that Duke and Hero saw what happened. "What happened to your Buzzy Bee paint?" said Hero. But Hank didn't want to talk. "I don't want to talk," he said. Hero told Duke what happened, and Hank told him the story. The reason why I want it back, he said, it's because I don't want you to make fun of me looking like that, he said. "Me? Make fun of you?" said Duke. "I would never do that. You remember when Duncan changed my tender and Ferdinand's tender by accident? That was a very, very bad mistake to make our tenders look like that." "Really?" said Hank. But Hank was determined not to laugh. But after when he was having his moment, he already laughed, and Duke was annoyed. I heard you laugh, he said. Sorry, said Hank. Well, said Duke. And with that he laughed, even Hero and Hank, who are the happiest of all.